everyone, it's Lauren back, and this is the first video for August little mixed media mini series. I'm hoping you're enjoying this kind of thing, and if you are, let me know down below or on the website on Facebook, and we'll keep going. So this month we obviously got the Vicky Budin paints, and we're going to use them today. I've got a silicone brush, and I've also got my Sanity loyalty card that I don't use anymore. And I haven't decided my photo, but I'm just going to put some paint here. So as you can see, that's with the silicone brush. And then I show you it works exactly the same with the loyalty card. You just scrape it on, grab a bit on the edge and push it down the page. Be a bit rough where it goes, don't need to be, well, sometimes you might want to be straight and precise, but I like to just have it on the page in some strokes and a bit of variety where it ends on the sides rather than it being all straight. So yeah, so just wipe that off with a baby wipe just because it's easier. Did have a bit on my fingers, that's why you couldn't see what I was doing for a second. And yeah, so we're going to move on to the next part of what I add to that background in a moment. And it's nothing too fancy, but I think the simplest techniques can be the most boldest and funnest, it's not even a word, most bold and fun to brighten up and make your photo a big part of the layout. So I'm still deciding. Both these photo combinations go so well with the colours that I just could not decide what I wanted. And I just go, okay, well, I'm going to do the next part of my background and then I'll decide. Hopefully at some point I decide so that we can get the layout done. So I just got these Dina Wakley mark making brushes. I don't actually know what they're exactly called, but they've just got little ends on them that make marks. This one makes dots, the other one makes lines. You could just use the end of a paintbrush or a cotton bud to make some dots. So I'm just dotting in a diagonal way and thinking that my photo will be in the middle, so dotting there to the side as well, just to add a bit of interest. Like, it's not that much that it stands out. In fact, it's hard to probably see most of it on the camera, but it actually is so fun that it's hard to stop doing the dots. So if you start, just have that in mind, that you need to pull yourself back and say, okay, right, stop. Next, I'm going to add some water. So I'm just going to spray some water on here. If I could get my water bottle out. Oh no, clean it off first. That's why I couldn't get it out. It was a wipe. So just spraying a bit of water directly onto it, and I'm just going to use a paintbrush and mix that up. So when you're mixing water with the paint or any paint, if you end up with too much water and it's too watery and you don't want the watercolor look, then just add a little bit more paint. Or if you're mixing it up and the paint is still too thick, just add a bit of water. So I'm just going to do some ink splatters, and then I realised that they're probably going to be just very similar to the dots. So I got out an eyedropper or a pipette. This is pipette, but an eyedropper does the same, and I'm just sectioning it up and dripping it on the page. And then I will use it, here we go, for some ink splatters. They're bigger ink splatters than a paintbrush would do, unless you had a huge paintbrush, obviously. So yeah, so hopefully it helped me slowing down this mixed media part so that we could talk through it and help you all out there have a try and just have some fun with some mixed media. So now this is where I fully decide. I really love those photos, they're so cute. But then I decide this black and white little photo would be cool to have as a little focus on the big page of art. So get out my really useful box, and that's got all the kits in it. Sorry, my phone is going off. So that's got all the kit goodies in it, and as you would have seen in my stop motion unboxing on my channel, or how I store my kit video as well, that shows you how it's all stored. And I'm just pulling out things in the blue and the green tones. So that's what my aim is for this layout, to make some bluey green, sort of like a monotone kind of layout. And then I end up adding some black and some white. White's already there really because you got the white background, but you know what I mean. And so yeah, so I end up matting the photo with some of this card. Actually, do I mat it with some white cardstock first? Oh, I didn't see this when I was editing. I must have looked up. So yeah, so matting with some white, just because it's a black and white photo. It's nice to have a white border to start with. So simply adding just the white cardstock, pretty easy. Well, most of us, there is some people that don't use white cardstock because they use pattern paper backgrounds. But yeah, we should at least have a little bit in our stash, I reckon. So just rounding the corners. This photo is taken, actually not taken, but well, it's taken at the pool when he was little. It is printed on my selfie on the card size. So that's tiny. It's not the 4x6, I say in inverted commas for a selfie, but the card size for the selfie is, I think, 2¼ by 3 or something along those lines. If you want to know, comment down below and I'll find out exact details. It's on the printer box, on the cartridge and paper box, but pretty much comes out in that size. So it's kind of cute. And just ripping the edges, ripping the bottom as well a bit more. And then I realized there was this lovely ripped off bit that would go as a second double layer down below on the photo. So sticking that on, it's really cute to use your leftovers like that sometimes. It went so well, you can tell. It's just that extra bonus of depth behind the layers. So trying to work out what my next photo layer would be. And just cutting that one square to have a bit of a different interest, and I was going to put it that way. Looking at some more. There was, I guess the embellishments were more bluey green than the paper we got. So it was a bit limited, but I made it work because we got lots of embellishments. We got lots of exclusive embellishments as well, and it comes out really lovely, I think. Lots of I didn't want so much layers because it's a tiny photo. I don't want to overwhelm it, but I want enough layers that it looks really cool and grungy is what I like to call my layouts. And so yeah, this lovely wood grain paper is so nice. And I was like, even though I get the paper out on kit, I didn't want to use it. I knew it'd be lovely for a background just by itself. And sort of went, yeah, it could work. Oh, no, I don't want it to work. So grab this label sticker off the sticker sheet and I rip it in half so I can use it on both ends and realise that it's sticky on the bottom, so I have to stick my photo down before I can nudge that into the sides. So here we go, down it goes, and then I'm just going to put that label on the side of either side. So that's a cool way to make your embellishments stretch. That way it looks like there's a whole photo layer, photo mat behind it, but it's just those two little ends that have got some goodness just from one little label sticker fighting with my photo. I'd stuck it down to the edges too far. And then we're going to add a little bit more, not too much more, to the photo layers. There's this little ribbon, and I didn't really like, I don't know, those award ribbons are not my style in embellishment, so cut off the ribbons because I could use them as banners and stick that in behind. That's a cute little interesting layer rather than the straight or the ripped edges. And this little word sticker that I make into a banner, so much love. It's so cute. It's the perfect colour, perfect saying. Just love it. And I fight with it a lot. Oh, I just plugged my microphone, so hopefully that means that I was recording properly. I have to see when I play it back because I'm halfway through the video. Looking at the 3D embellishments, 3D, but what on earth? They're chipboard. They are 3D embellishments, but who calls them that? That's crazy. So I thought this tulle is the perfect time to use it. That would be a lovely little pop of interest without it being too overwhelming. I knew it needed some kind of a texture layer behind it, but I didn't want to reach into my tissue paper stash at the moment. And it's just installed my microphone, so that's interesting. Let's see what we get at the beginning. Hopefully I've recorded well because that was good. So I'm just impatient and don't want to wait for them to dry. So just using some paper towel, folding it over so that they don't smudge. And so yeah, so my background, the paint dries so quickly. That blue at the background is dry. It was just the splatters because it was watered down and because they were quite big and bold. That took a bit longer to dry. So there was this lovely chipboard. You were one of a kind. That's cute. It doesn't stay there, but it's cute. and it will definitely go on a layout. No worries about that. So get out the sticker sheet again. And then I love this. This is everything that's up there in that title. But when and I play with it so much because I really like it. But it is too blocky for this photo. It's too big and it's too blocky for this photo. So as much as I try, it is not going to stay. But I kept it in because obviously we can't all be awesome with our selecting on the first try. So we all have a practice and see what we want to work and come up with the final layout at the end. So now that I've attached that tulle with the tiny attacher just because it's easy, I'm trying to add a little bit of layers behind the tulle so that it gives it another depth. And I realised that it needs something up in this corner, so I started an embellishment, just laying it there. I'm not gluing it down yet. And just a label and a 1-inch circle from the exclusive pack. And here we go. So we're going to practice and try and make this Is Everything work. I can't even get it out of under the layers of ripped paper. It's just my hands are not working so late at night. You can see it just is too blocky and just not where it needs to be. And we're going to try it up the top because it doesn't work down the bottom, maybe it'll work up the top. And then put that sticker back because I really love that Much Love sticker and I want to keep that on there. And look at that bird. It's the perfect colours and it's so cute. It doesn't really go with swimming, but it's a delightful little addition and it's going to go in that cluster up the top. I really love it. I love the way that cluster comes at the top, ends up. So stay tuned for that. Spoiler alert. So look at these lovely phrase stickers. They're beautiful. Chill, which came apart, which it was meant to come apart, but I didn't realise until I was pulling it off. Chill would have worked. What else do we try? Love. We end up with love, and I think we try one more. There was something that I wanted to use, but it was love, and it's got love out loud. Can you see that there? I really love that love out loud, but then I could just write, if I want to use love out loud, I could write love in a different font on a different layout rather than having it as the same font for the 3 words. Now these are the Project Life size cards, the 3x4 cards on the cut apart sheet that came in the Project Life kit, and this is the exclusive Project Life size card. So that's going to layer under the tulle. Might be a little bit tricky to see, but that means that the tulle is not the last layer sticking out on top of a mixed media border, but it actually just adds to all the layers rather than being its own little pop of difference. Really is what I think anyway. You might think otherwise. So pulling out some more of these, looking at the words and the bits and pieces. So when I sort out my kits, I have a little section of words, a little section of the labels, and then the section of ephemera. And sometimes even the ephemera I break down even further. And then I sort out the other embellishments that we get in the kit. So if you want to see more of that, obviously check out my video on that. And but that makes it easy because at this stage, as you can see, I'm like, oh, okay, I want some words. Let me pull out and see what words go with the colour scheme and with the photo and the subject as such. So definitely makes it much easier. And I remember those Project Life cards have the black and the cream on the back, but you can't, the cream is not that out there that it makes a difference. It's okay. Sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't. So that goes just like that, and I'm going to take that label off because there was staples underneath it that it was covering. So that's a nice little hidden trick, and the staples on the bottom are like an added bonus rather than being hidden. So fighting with my glue as always. It's just like one of those predictable things with Lauren's videos. So hashtag life on this half circle is cute. I'm putting it over here, putting it everywhere until I decide that it goes on the left side under the title, under that little banner sticker layer, not label. Goodness gracious me. And then so we got those lovely little stars on the phrase stickers, and I figured I might put some everywhere. That would bring in the big bold black that's in the title. And then I realised they had these like underlining, they're lines, but so I think they're to underline the words. But I'm actually going to have it as a branch for the bird. And it looks so cute, and it just draws in that black into that top cluster. So adding some foam tape under that bird so that it's sticking up on top of that 3D phrase, the puffy sticker, and cutting off that edge and putting that one down here on the other foam sticker, because basically because my layers are a little bit high, but also because I had the foam sticker sticking on my finger. Got to use it when you got it. Gluing it down. We're gluing with wet glue because it's mixed media. Finding the right spot. Moving my stars because of course I moved my picture when I glued it down. Holding it for a second, and we're just going to do the finishing touches. So there was these lovely blue hearts, and they're going to be sprinkled on. And we had those wood veneer half circles, and I really forgot about them, and they would have been nice on there, but it was too late. They were not going to work. Adding in some more labels in the layering behind. It's a good way to use up all the labels. We get lots of labels. It's so awesome. So if you don't use them all and they go with your layers, then definitely put them in. So adding the word favorite, fantastic up here actually, not favorite. So I'm just building up those layers and the sprinkles. And just straightening out. The paper was warping a little, not much, surprisingly. Actually, I know why, because this is actually mixed media paper from Officeworks. That's what it's labelled as. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, cardstock, and yeah, so it didn't warp that much, which was pretty good, but I can't remember how much that was. I don't think it was that cheap, actually. It's obviously cheaper to buy the Basil Marshmallow cardstock if you want, or most of the time I just use American. No, I don't. I use Kaisercraft textured cardstock, and I just don't care about the buckling or warping because sometimes it's minimal and sometimes it just will flatten out when you put it in your album, or if you want to flatten it out, it's easy to do so under something flat and heavy. Sometimes it's just not worth that extra dollars. So adding some of these bling, they're the perfect colour to add, and because they go in with those green dots, green splatters, and a doodly border. This pen is so cool. I love it. So just one line of border, so it's not really doodly. I tried to be as straight as possible, and I put 3 X's there, and there. I outline the blue hearts so that they stick out, and add a bit more of the black to the layout. I add some X's there to the edge, just like the border. And I call it a day after a little bit of journaling above those words. I was considering underneath, but above it goes. So hopefully this inspires you to get out and create and share with us what you're making with your August kits. Stay tuned for everything else we're making. Have a good month. Bye.